Happy Holy Hump Day on this May 4th, everyone. I'm Pastor Robert. Welcome to this midweek time where I can share some spiritual thoughts and reflections with you. I thought that for today it would be good for us to be updated on the United Methodist Church as a denomination and as it relates to LGBTQ issues. So every 4 years, the United Methodist Church has what's called a general conference, which consists of clergy and laity representatives from all over the world, because the United Methodist Church is a global denomination. And so this general conference meets every 4 years, and they make decisions related to the whole denomination. And for this upcoming general conference, which was supposed to happen the end of August and into September, in Minnesota, they were supposed to talk about a potential split in the denomination regarding LGBTQ issues. So right now, as it stands, the United Methodist Church has a very restrictive stance regarding LGBTQ issues. So, for example, a United Methodist pastor is not permitted to officiate at a same-sex wedding, and candidates for ministry that have come out as gay and are non-celibate are not permitted to be considered for ordination. And so those are very important issues, and it's important that the United Methodist Church find a way to move forward with that, because every 4 years this gets debated, and it can be a very heated debate as well. And so this next general conference is meant to be able to address this issue. And there is legislation that has been proposed for the next general conference that would be where there would be an amicable split in the denomination, so that those who are more conservative regarding this issue would be able to leave the denomination and go into either a new denomination or become independent, and that those that would like to see a change where it would be a more open stance regarding LGBTQ issues, they would be able to remain in the United Methodist Church. And that might sound a little confusing because, as I said, right now in the United Methodist Church, we have a very restrictive stance. So why would conservatives, theological conservatives, why would they be the ones leaving the denomination? And it is very confusing. But I think for some conservatives, they feel that there's a need for a whole different denomination, not just related to LGBTQ issues, but just to make some changes with the bureaucratic form that we have in the United Methodist Church as it stands. And so for those that want to see a more open stance, if that legislation would get voted on and approved, they would remain in the United Methodist Church. And for those that want to see the restrictive measures continue, they would leave the United Methodist Church and start their own denomination, which has been given a name, which is called the Global Methodist, so that when that time comes, they will be able to join that denomination. So that's where we are right now with this. We're in a waiting period. And the other complicating thing in this issue is that the denomination owns the assets and the buildings of United Methodist churches. So it would be one thing to say that, if there's a United Methodist Church that wants to go ahead and leave the denomination to form this more conservative denomination, or clergy that would also want to do the same, you just can't leave because the property belongs to the denomination. So this legislation that was being proposed for the next general conference would provide an easier exit for those churches that would want to leave, and those clergy that would want to leave to form this new conservative denomination. And so the question's going to be that since this general conference has been delayed another 2 years, how patient will maybe conservatives be to stay within the United Methodist Church and just wait it out until that official change happens, where it'll be a little bit easier for them to leave the denomination financially. And you can imagine, what kind of stress this can cause, the United Methodist Church in this waiting period. Will there be churches that will exit out of the denomination that would want to be in a more conservative kind of stance regarding LGBTQ, or will they wait until there's probably going to be a more financially favorable settlement for them if they do choose to leave? So again, a quick summary here is, if that legislation would get passed whenever that general conference happens, we think it's going to be May of 2024. Let's say that passes as it's stated, that would mean that anybody that would want to see the restrictive language regarding LGBTQ be removed from the Book of Discipline, they would want to stay in the United Methodist Church. And those that would want to see the restrictive language continue, they would most likely want to leave the United Methodist Church and form a more conservative denomination. And like I said, the new name has been given to that denomination, the Global Methodist. So that's what's at play here. And there's not a whole lot to focus on right now for Athens First United Methodist Church. I know myself, our leadership board, we're very committed to being the most affirming, welcoming, inclusive church we can possibly be. We do look forward to that time when the restrictive language will be hopefully removed, and that we can be even more affirming and welcoming and inclusive. But until that time comes, it's just a waiting period. I do invite you, all of us, to be in prayer for our bishop, Gregory Palmer, to be in prayer for our denomination as we go through this very difficult and what I would call awkward time in seeking to be patient. And we're just going to have to see how churches react and clergy react to this delay in having this general conference. It's all pandemic related. I mean, it was supposed to happen even a year ago, but because of the pandemic, it keeps getting delayed. But it looks like it will happen in May of 2024. The question is another 2 years of waiting going to be enough for people who really feel the need theologically to leave the denomination? So it doesn't affect us too much because we're, for all intents and purposes, going to remain in the United Methodist Church with the hopes that this legislation down the road will remove that restrictive language. So I hope that is helpful to you. So much more can be said. I know our bishop has already sent out a video sharing some of these thoughts, and the bishop has said that he would continue to send out some videos as maybe new information comes out. But I do believe that it's just going to be a matter of waiting this out for these 2 years and just to see what churches and clergy might do. I am committed, though, to be as inclusive and welcoming as I possibly can, as your pastor. And I know you as a church have that in your heart as well. So let's keep working with that, on that, and let's keep devoting our energy toward that rather than being concerned about the future. We need to just focus more on the present. That's my sense. I do invite you to join us for worship this Sunday at 9 or 10:30. We also have our 10:30 live stream where you can watch the service on our church's YouTube channel. It will be Mother's Day, and the theme will be Go Green, and that's going to be based on various scripture readings that we have for this upcoming Sunday. It's also known as Shepherd Sunday because it's where Psalm 23 and also John 10 that talks about Jesus as our good shepherd. So it's a very shepherding kind of Sunday. So please join us for worship this Sunday. And remember to just keep trusting in God, keep praying for our denomination, keep praying for our leaders, and God will guide us through this whole process. And so may God bless you on this Holy Hump Day.